it's been a bit since I've done a long video, and I just paused for a little bit, but now I'm gonna get right back into it again because honestly, it makes me happy doing these. And speaking about being happy, this video is the things I stopped doing to become happier. Number one is I stopped waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time, it doesn't exist. Like, start now. And you know what? I think we all get in that habit. Like, I'm gonna start Monday, I'm gonna start on the new week, I'm gonna start this. But like, honestly, you just need to start. That's the first step in action of doing anything to bettering your life, changing your life, or to make any decision is to start now. There is no perfect time, so you're just gonna be waiting forever. When you start now, you limit that mental argument or whatever conversation in your brain about like, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I'm gonna start this on Monday. Like I'm gonna quit smoking on Monday, and then Monday comes, then you don't start, and because this happened and all that. Like it's just best start right now. Start today. Start the second if you need to, but that will make you happy because then you're not having that mental conversation going back and forth of when you're gonna start, because that's what will happen. Stop chasing people. I stopped chasing people and I never could be happier. Like, honestly, and that was a huge thing for me because I would always chase people. I would chase friendships a lot. And that was like a huge thing for me because so many times I felt so left out of friendships, and I would chase them. Like, I'd go out of my way to do things for them when it was not given back to me, right? So I don't chase people anymore. And like, when I would chase people, like it made me feel so small. It doesn't make me feel good. Not chasing people actually makes me feel happier because the energy spent on chasing people is now spent on myself. So of course I'm going to be happier. The third thing is I stopped comparing myself to everyone else. Now that's a huge thing. And I mean, I did completely stop it. Like, I'm human. So naturally I will get in these phases where I'm comparing myself a little extra, right? Or like it seems like not a little extra, but I get back into the pattern of comparing myself. So it's being self-aware and realizing that you're doing it. So one of the things that would happen for me too is like, I'll be like most people, if you get into those scrolling sessions and then you start looking at other people's lives, then all of a sudden now you feel like you're behind, right? Like, I didn't have this feeling before, but when I noticed other people's lives, that's when I kind of got that feeling, right? So when I get in that mode, I'm like, okay, you need to step back and like get out of that social, like stop looking at social media and take like a minute and a break, because what you're seeing is somebody's highlight reels. Like when I post things too, like there's so much things in the back end that are happening. Like, for example, like this morning, like I had a really tough morning. I couldn't get going. I couldn't get my day going. And that's things that people don't show on their Instagram. They don't show like the tough parts, the mental parts, like, you know, when my house is extremely messy, like how messy it is, it's not shown, and other people's isn't shown. So when you compare yourself, you're comparing yourself to people's like things that they purposely changed to show to you, that shows that they're doing better or doing that. And maybe they are doing better, but who cares? Focus on your life, because when you focus on your own life and you don't compare yourself, you go farther, like, and you're happier in that way, because like obviously you're going to be happy when you focus on yourself. Half the things that I compare myself, it wasn't even a thought until I saw someone else have it. I didn't even know. Like, what I do now is I say, okay, thank you for showing me that this is a desire I want. Now I'm going to go back into my life and I'm going to work on my goals and get that. So a lot of things that I would compare myself to is my body, right? But like, to be honest, I love my body. Like, I'm not where I want to be goal wise with my body, but I know I'm going to get there. And while I'm in that in between stage, I'm going to love my body. Like, you know, it's funny how we're trained so much to think that everybody is better off than what we are. But like, at the end of the day, I'm glad I have my problems. I'm glad I have my body, my face, my hair. Like, I'm happy with that stuff. So comparing yourself like to other people, it makes no sense in the long run, because you're not actually seeing those people for who they really are, because they're only showing you what they want you to see. That's what I mean. I probably ranted way too long on that, but it's super important because like I get into that and I feel so bad, and I'm like, you know, I feel like I'm behind in life and I feel insecure and all this stuff. But when you take away that and you stop looking at the other people's lives, you realize that you're so lucky for the things you have, right? And that's why I try to remind myself, like, I'm grateful for who I am and I'm grateful for the things I have. And that's super important to me, right? And that makes me feel happier. I stopped saying yes to everything. That's a huge one for me. I used to be like, it's a people pleaser thing. And if you're a people pleaser, you understand this completely. You feel like people deserve like your attention all the time and all this. You don't need to answer those texts right away. You can let them sit and give them space so you can think of your responses, or not even think of it all. You're busy, you're doing stuff, right? Not saying yes, saying no to things, right? Like, you don't have to go to everything. You're not missing out. And I think the older I get, the more I realize I am not missing out, right? Before, when I was younger, I always thought I was missing out. Like, I had to go to every party. I had to go all these things because, I need to be a part of it. But when you get older, you stop caring about that. And not even when you get older. When you're happy with your life and you're happy where you are, you stop wanting those things. You stop giving your energy to things that do not energize you. So you say no more often. Like, I know that how this conversation is going to go with this person, so I'm not going to I'm saying no, I don't want to hang out. Because when I leave hanging out with you, I feel drained. So I'm not going to hang out. You don't have to say that. But you just say no, right? Sorry, I'm busy. Like, you don't even actually have to say that. I learned that too. Because you don't have to explain no. You just say no. And saying no to more things, like, it protects your energy. And again, you will be more happier. I stopped looking for happiness outside of myself. Okay, like, there's nobody else who's going to make you happy. There's no other person that's going to make you happy. There's no perfect job that's going to make you happy. Like, obviously, you're going to find jobs that you love and enjoy, and maybe they actually do, give you a sense of happiness, right? But at the end of the day, everything is from you. Like, you could have nothing and still choose to be happy because the happiness is in you. Everything is in you. So when you stop looking for happiness outside of yourself, in another person, in a job, in an identity, and you realize that you get to choose to be happy, that's a game changer. Because, like, you can literally start, like, your day. And that's the thing too, is like, this morning I was like having a hard morning and things were just not going the way I want to, and I'm stubborn, and sometimes when I don't get the things I want, I get pouty. But I'm like, which is not I don't like that character trait about me. I try to work on it and realizing that, because for me, when you do that, like, I don't want to be that person that things go wrong in their day and then all of a sudden their day is miserable. Like, why? It's my day, right? Like, I wanted a good day. So I realized that with self-awareness, and I was like, nope, I choose to be happy. I choose to make this day a good day, regardless that this didn't happen. And that's okay, right? Like, that's the thing. You get to choose to be happy. So we need to stop giving our power to other things to make us happy, because that's a responsibility that shouldn't be on anyone else, and you shouldn't look for it in anything else or anybody else. The other thing is, I stopped drinking to escape. So I would always drink to numb myself, right? And I'm not talking about like a little bit of drinking, you're going out with your friends. Like, I used to drink a lot, heavily. And it was the point where, like, there would be times where, I drank so much I passed out. My lights were on. There's a lot of times like that. And, like, it was bad. And now I don't do that. Like, I do go out and have drinks and stuff, but I don't, like, it's not to numb myself. There's nothing that I'm trying to, and it's not because, I'm perfect. I'm not. I'm human. So, like, I still have my moments, but I worked through a lot of issues that I was using to numb myself. And the reason I was numbing myself was to survive. Okay. I was in survival and I was trying to survive. And now I'm not in that survival mode, that I don't need to do those things anymore. Right. And I have so many healthy habits put in place to help me deal with things. And I go to therapy, but it's also like, I think for me, cause I do like still get like triggers to wanting to drink and stuff. And because I have that self-awareness, I know when it comes up, like, there's certain things that will trigger it and I can feel it. And I just sit in the the discomfort. We'll say that. I sit in the discomfort until it passes, instead of like going on it. Right. And like, I quit smoking too. And that's another thing. Like, I recently was getting cravings and stuff, but I just don't act on it. I sit, I be uncomfortable with it, and then I move on, right? And it goes away. But with drinking, it was like, you know, like I needed to continuously, I just needed to drink all the time just to not feel things. And now I prefer to feel things and sit in the discomfort of wanting to drink, but choosing not to drink because I'm feeling uncomfortable with the feeling. So I sit with the feeling and it passes. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is ever permanent. Things are temporary. And another thing I stopped was talking negatively about myself. Now, this one is like, again, one of those things I didn't completely stop. Like, obviously, you stop and then naturally your patterns come up again, just like the other things I mentioned. So it's, again, everything is self-awareness. Once you're so aware of it, like you can kind of catch on when the pattern's happening again, and then you can like go the other way. So when I notice that I'm talking really negatively about myself, I try to correct myself right away and be like, no, like you are beautiful. You are this. And I'm telling you, it changes everything. Like I will look in the mirror and I will say so many bad things about my skin and all of this. And then it looks like that. But the minute I change what I'm thinking, like my inner talk, to like, you're beautiful, your skin's beautiful, your hair is beautiful, it like you can physically see it change. And like it's amazing how powerful your inner voice is. So if you're constantly being negative to yourself, you're constantly draining yourself, you're constantly making yourself unhappy, and you're believing things. Not every thought is true. It's not always true. The things you think doesn't mean make it's true, because you thought it doesn't make it a true thought, right? It's something that you believe. So when you start talking kinder to yourself, you're changing the beliefs about yourself. Therefore, you're going to see those things. That's what you're going to see in the mirror. That's what you're going to see and give to your friends and family, is what you're thinking in there, right? So that's why it's super important to watch what how you're speaking to yourself, and like just being aware of it and being like, oh, I'm kind of being mean to myself, and then like changing that self-talk. Like, trust me, it really works. And you're like, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And you start thinking naturally positive about so many things. Like so many things become positive because of that. Another thing I stopped doing was trying to control everything. Now, I don't know if it's the Scorpio in me, but I love to control things. And I think it's a protection mechanism for sure. Because if I control things, then there's no chaos. So you think, right? But it's such a responsibility to control things. Like, I can't control other people. I can't control what happens that, just happens in like real life events. Like, like I can't control certain aspects of my life. And releasing that responsibility to control it makes me happier, because when you're like constantly trying to control things, you're so attached to these things, and you're so like, holding on to them. But when you let go, you're so much at peace. And it's not so much, I think for me, because I need to control to keep, I'm thinking in my head, if the more I control, the less chaos there will be in my life. There isn't much chaos in my life anyways anymore, but I feel like because I let go of the control now, when things happen that are like maybe not the best things, I have a different mindset about it. I don't think about how to control the situation. I just think what I can do on my end to make it better. Like, what is the solution, right? Let's move on from this problem and find a solution, because that's really all I need is a solution. I don't need to keep going on or like controlling every aspect of it. I just need a solution so the problem ends. And then it's other things like with people and friendships and all that. Like, when you try to control those things naturally are going to happen the way they're going to happen and how they're meant to happen. The only thing you can control is how you respond, how you react to things, what you choose to do. So that's what I control. I control how I react in a situation. I control how I respond to it, and I control what I do in this situation. And that's all I can control. I can control my habits, who I am, what I say, but other people, other things, other situations, I can't control. So whenever I make decisions, I always say, okay, what in this situation can I control and what can I not control? So what I can control, I I action and I fix, or not fix, or do nothing. Maybe that's my control, is to not do anything. And that's my control for my response. But everything else, I let go and let the universe handle it. And honestly, everything always works out. So knowing that too makes me happier, because it takes the pressure off. Don't try to always control everything. You're not gonna be able to. The other thing I stopped doing was waiting until I felt motivated. Now, motivation, like, it's, especially when you're working on long-term goals, like goals that are longer than 6 months, trust me, it's like, motivation like comes and then it just gone. And I constantly have to remind myself that, like, you gotta, right now you're not motivated, but you just gotta keep doing it. Even if it's like you gotta push yourself, even if you really don't want to. And like for runs, like a lot of times, like I'm like, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. And then I go and do it because I know I'm going to feel better after. And I go and do it. And then after, I'm like, I'm so glad I did this. It was like the best run ever. So it's a habit. It's a muscle. The more you work at being disciplined, the easier it gets. You just start having routines, and then naturally you just start doing them. And so when you're not motivated, yeah, like I don't want to do this. Okay, well, instead of doing an hour run, let's just do a 20-minute run. And then you start doing a 20-minute run, which turns into a 40-minute run, which turns into an hour run. And then you hit the goal anyways. I don't want to go to the gym. Okay, we'll just do a 15-minute workout. Okay, you do a 15-minute workout, turns into half an hour workout, or you lift really heavy and you hit new PR goals and everything's amazing. Like, I don't want to write my book. Okay, well, I'm going to write 1 page. Then you write 2 pages. Oh, I'm really into it. Now I'm on like 3 pages. Like, it's just momentum that goes. And even if you don't do that, even if you just run for 20 minutes, you just write that 1 page, you just did that 15-minute workout, you did it. So you just crushed 3 goals in a day, in a short period, but you still did it. And that's what's going to give you results. You're consistent, even when you didn't want to be. And this last thing that I stopped doing, which is the biggest one and my favorite one, because as someone who abandoned herself for years and years and years, I stopped abandoning myself and I started choosing myself. And that is like life-changing, especially for happiness. Because when you're choosing yourself, you're giving yourself energy, you're giving yourself love. You're saying, I am important, I matter. Even if that person doesn't think so, you choose you. And I used to always choose other people and abandon myself. Like, I don't want to do that, but I'll do that because you want me to do that. Or like, I don't want to be that person, but I will do that because you want me to be that person, right? Like, once you stop abandoning yourself and you choose, you come home to yourself. You come home to yourself and you're home and you feel good and then you flourish. And I've never gotten this far in like my goals. Like, I never worked out this long and like had these consistency of habits since I was like 15 and a half and I started drinking and getting into like smoking and all this stuff, right? And normally I would get into like a routine where I'm like working out, and maybe that lasts like 8 months, and then I'm right back into it. I'm right back into the drinking. I'm right back into the partying, and I abandon myself again, right? And then it's a long stretch. Like, the last time I abandoned myself was so long. Oh my God. Actually, that wasn't the last time I did it again, but now I'm like not doing it. Like, I'm continuously choosing myself, and it's not being selfish. It's just saying that I love myself and I'm going to continue to do these things that make me who I am and living the life I want to because of my choice. And that's what it means. So if you find yourself abandoning yourself, start choosing yourself in even little ways, because once you do that, like, it's life-changing. But anyways, those are the things that I've stopped doing, to become happier. And I hope that it helps somebody else, whoever is watching this video, choose to maybe stop doing those things too and become happier in their own lives as well.